Please don't forget to subscribe, because a lot of people that watch my videos don't subscribe apparently, and hit that bell so you stay informed with the latest and greatest videos from this channel. I'm also live every day on twitch.tv/HasanAbi after 11 a.m. Pacific. We've moved beyond the point of like funny motherfuckers who think you can't be racist to white people.
Bro, white people want to be oppressed so bad. No, I don't think they want to be oppressed. I think they just want to be respected. What makes you think they're not already respected? Some people are just racist towards them. You mean prejudice? Yeah, that's the same thing. No, it isn't. Yeah, it is. Showing prejudice because of their skin color is racism. So, you can't oppress the oppressors. Not every white person's an oppressor. Oh, so you a coon, that's what you guys make no fucking sense. Bro, white people want to be oppressed.
Like, what happens? What happens when you're racist to a white person? What? He's right, though? No, the fuck he's not. Like, it is such a silly, cowardly fucking way to describe, like, racism, which is significantly more harmful when done at the systemic level than, like, some individual dumbass being racist to you. And the only reason why an individual dumbass being racist to you is still hurtful is because it is being reinforced from the very systems that we exist under. Okay? Like, that's the problem. The problem with racism isn't, you're being mean, okay? This is something that, like, for some weird reason, a lot of white people just, like, never understand it. The problem with racism isn't, like, someone was mean to me and it hurts my feelings. You can only reduce it to that, like, hyper-individualistic attitude if you've probably never practiced empathy towards marginalized people. Okay? Like, it doesn't work that way. It's about your material conditions being limited historically. It's about your fucking entire cultural identity, your ethnic background being erased systemically for centuries. It's about wars being fought to keep you a slave. And then having another 100 years of systemic oppression in the form of segregation. Like, that's what that is. That's the reason why it's hurtful. It's not like, N-word bad. Ooh, it hurts my feelings. Like, don't say the word. It's like the word is associated with all of those wrongs. Okay? Centuries of oppression, colonization, exploitation, like mass rape. Just actual ownership of human beings. Like, that's why it's bad. Okay? It's not because it's just a mean word. So I find it really funny whenever people are like, like, don't say cracker. Think about the etymology of the word cracker. It's a whip cracker, dude.
As high.
Even in the history of the word cracker, there's still power. Okay? You're still giving power to the white person. So even the fucking slurs that are supposed to be hurtful and mean actually end up, because it has the historical context, giving you the power. The N-word, on the other hand, means you are not human. Okay? So that's why you can say that you can't say the N-word, but you can say cracker. There are, by the way, numerous different interpretations of cracker and where it comes from. And whipping is one of the many different interpretations. Please don't come in here with a fucking dumbass Wikipedia shit being like, actually, in the 17th century, there could have been a different interpretation of the word cracker. Like, it comes from a different place. Like, no. Reverse racism sounds a lot like straight people being like, why no straight pride parade? Why no straight pride month? Why, motherfucker? What do we do? Like, we're the default, dude. What do you want to be proud of? Like, what What, fucking your cousin, dude? Yeah, be proud, bro. You did a really good job.
Against white people, but I didn't really think about it from this perspective.
It's not reverse racism, it's just racism. Dude, racism isn't just like saying mean words. I don't understand. I find this really fucking stupid. It's not reverse racism, it's just racism. It's such a fucking idiotic take. Talk to me about racism when, I don't know, for 100 years, black people fucking come to white areas and steal them, rape them, colonize them. And then afterwards, they're like, fight a war to free the white folk. And then still, after that, they're like, yeah, you know what? We probably should be separate but equal. Racism and systemic racism are different things. How is this difference so hard to understand? Why can't you disapprove of all racism even if it doesn't involve slavery? Because I'm not a fucking idiot. That's why. Because racism without systemic racism is just like, oh, you're being hurtful. I literally just described it. Being hurtful is bad? Yeah, well, you know, I'm still fucking hurtful, okay? And crying about how fucking hurtful someone is and trying to compare it to racism plus systemic racism is fucking insane. Yeah, so yes, with racism being an issue at the systemic level, all white people bad equals bad still. No one is saying all white people equals bad, but you are specifically bad, okay? You as a white person, you're a bad white, okay? I'm fucking white, idiot. What the fuck are you talking about? That's why you come across like a fucking idiot. Aren't you a known racist yourself? Of course. There are definitely people saying that, though. Who cares? Who cares? Again, who cares? There is no historical precedent for so many people coming up with the idea that white people are so bad that, like, you know, we've only had 13 fucking black senators so far, dude. Or sorry, 11. 11 black senators in the history of the United States of America. It feels like, you know, the overwhelming majority of people in positions of power are still oftentimes white men. It doesn't seem like it's like a serious fucking systemic form of oppression or even any oppression whatsoever. It's just people who are powerless otherwise fucking blowing off steam. And if you are going to reduce it back down to like, well, what about the average working class white person who's just being a little racist to blow off steam? It still doesn't matter because you're blowing off steam by relitigating and reigniting the same systemic scars. You are reinforcing the systems of oppression when you do that. Okay? God damn, dude. You are not white Islam. Stop acting like you are. You have no idea what it's like being told your existence is racist. You can't even imagine what goes through my mind when someone calls me a male monkey. I only have a little mayo most days. Imagine having that little racial awareness. Bro, this motherfucker is on fire today, dude. This is the second time. The second time he got me. Oh.
Lit content.
Yeah. It's just like, I'm sorry, dude. It's just fucking ridiculous. Defining racism mainly as interpersonal dynamic empowers Robin DiAngelo's of the world. That right wingers should also reject reverse racism. What? Like people have no way of comprehending systemic problems, right? Especially ones that require you to understand the accurate depiction of history, okay? And if you've never learned it, and this even includes black children being educated in the United States of America that unfortunately learn a very white supremacist or at least whitewashed version of American history, is ridiculous. Like, yeah, you're never going to understand it. I'm never going to understand it personally because I'm not black. But at least I understand the history of it enough to recognize that these are a group of people that have been wronged historically with no restitution, no reparations, nothing, who are wronged still to this day. And the scars of those, the scars of so many centuries of wrongdoing still exist and are still perpetuated through all of our systems, especially the criminal justice system. But you can see it even in like the medical profession, dude. And it's wild to like look at something as complex and as pervasive as centuries of violence and oppression, and then turning around and being like, this is exactly when, you know, people say I'm racist for being white. You're being racist towards white people. It's like, dude, you have no, like, that's just someone being mean to you, okay? And yeah, being mean to someone is oftentimes shitty, okay? It's shitty. But who cares? Comparing it to something
Parasocial Twitch
that is
baby
as
like Kaido have
comparing it to
any
something
good
like fucking racism is psychotic, dude. Like there you go. This is perfect. Isn't being mean based on racism though? That's it. That's what you're reducing racism to. It's just being mean based on race. That's it. Like, no, that's bullying, dude. Okay. That's hilarious to me. It's just a semantics argument for so many people. It's just like, I don't want to call out. Look, there's a reason why people that come to the United States from Africa, okay, like on their own volition, I'm not talking about slavery, I'm not talking about chattel slavery, will oftentimes also routinely shit on African Americans. That is, of course, until they assimilate and realize that most white people, if not all white people, see them the exact same way. Okay? Now, if you don't have any friends from Africa, you will not understand what I'm saying. But a common term, or at least in friend groups that I am familiar with, is calling black people in America Canadians as a substitute for the N-word. I don't know if that's like how it is in every friend group or whatever, but yeah. And I'm saying like this is what, you know, Nigerian people or black people from Africa that are first generation immigrants are doing. Not all, obviously not everyone. This is a really anecdotal and personal experience that I've had until they themselves recognize that like, oh shit, like I'm not being perceived differently because of my personal background. I'm not being perceived differently because I'm a first generation black immigrant in this country. I'm just black. Because that's how pervasive and powerful white supremacy is. Okay? That's the difference.